go for refuge until enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, while my accumulations for the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Sanje Choda Zoge Chodam Chanju Bardo Dane Gyasuji Dage Jinzo Gibe Sonam Ola Benji Sanje Dubare Sho Sanje Choda Zoge Chodam Chanju Bardo Dane Gyasuji Dage Jinzo Gibe Sonam Ola Benji Sanje Dubare Sho Sanje Choda Soge Chonam Kanjo Bardo Dane Gyapsu Che Dage Jinso Gebe Sonam Gola Benje Sanje Dubare Sho Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava Hetum Desham Tathagato Yavatat Chayo Niroda Evam Vati Mahashamana Yesvaha Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava Hetum Desham Tathagato Yavatat Desham Chayo This is a very comprehensive text written by Lama Tsongkhapa. The three principal aspects of part, meaning that the inner life, to see that our life, the meaning is extracted in full form of the three practices to be done: renunciation, bodhicitta, and wisdom and emptiness. For that matter, each of these points the Lama Tsongkhapa explained again 3 points. Say, number one, why we need to cultivate each of these points, number one. Number two, how to cultivate. Then number three, the measure of having cultivated the 3 points. Number one, why to cultivate renunciation. Number two, how to cultivate renunciation. Number three, the measure of having cultivated renunciation. And likewise for the bodhicitta, 3 points, and wisdom of emptiness, 3 points. So these are the clearly indicated here, page 77. I bow down to the Venerable Lamas. As well as I am able, I will explain the essence of all the teachings of the Buddha, apart, praised by the congregous children, entrance for those who desire liberation. Listen to the clear mind, you fortunate ones, who are not attached to enjoyments like the existence. Strive to make good use of leisure and opportunity, and direct your minds to the path that pleases the Buddhas. Without pure renunciation, an end to attraction for the pleasures like the existence is unattainable. A craving for existence also binds beings, thus without seeking renunciation. There is attraction to this life, but no matter how leisure and opportunity are difficult to finding, and how life is ephemeral without span. There is attraction to future life, but repeatedly thinking of the infallibility of karma and its effects, and the miseries of samsara. Contemplating thus, when for an instant you do not admire the splendors of cyclic existence, and remain intent on liberation, day and night, renunciation has been born in you then. However, renunciation, if not tempered by pure mind of bodhicitta, will not bring the forth of perfect bliss of unsurpassed enlightenment. Therefore, mind of bodhicitta, sweltered in the current of the four powerful rivers, tied by strong bonds of karma so hard unto, caught in the iron net of the self-grasping, and completely enveloped by the darkness of ignorance. Born and reborn in limitless cyclic existence, ceaselessly tormented by the three miseries, thinking of your mothers and conditions, demigod this bodhicitta. Although you train in renunciation for the mind of bodhicitta, without wisdom that realizes the ultimate reality, you cannot cut the root of cyclic existence. Therefore, strive to understand the dependent arising. One who sees the infallible cause and effect of all phenomena of samsara and nirvana, and destroys all purposeful apprehension, has entered the path which pleases the Buddhas. Appearances are infallible, dependent arising. Emptiness is understanding that is free of assertions. As long as these two are seen as distinct, you have not yet realized the intelligent Buddhas. When these two realizations are concurrent, where the mere sight of infallible dependent origination concurrently destroys all modes of grasping through definite discernment, at that time the analysis of the profound view is perfected. Furthermore, appearance is referring to extreme of existence, emptiness refers to extreme of non-existence. When understanding that emptiness arises in the form of cause and effect, you are not calculated by the view of extremes. O my child, once you have thus realized the point of the three principal paths, seek solitude and cultivate strong determination, and quickly reach the final aspired goal. Okay, when we recite this, the last line which reads, O my child, since now once we have thus realized the points of the three principal paths, after Lama Tsongpa explaining the three principal paths, this was done or composed at the request of Lama Tsongpa's student, from distance, from Disney area, through message. And Lama Tsongpa, knowing that the student was so dedicated, devoted, and of course very intelligent, he gives these three teachings. And then in the end, he said, "O my child, once you have thus realized upon the three principal paths, seek solitude and cultivate strong determination, and quickly reach the final aspired goal." So after having the study, reflection of these 3 points, then instead of wasting your time, seek solitude, meaning that spend more time in these 3 points. Seek solitude. Seeking solitude can be done 2 ways. One, physically you go out, go to the solitary, the confinement or place, and then you sit for meditation. One. Number 2 is even in a family or in the wherever city where you are, but disconnect yourself more from the mundane, unnecessary works, and then whatever little time that you have, try to not waste them and put them together and spend for your personal practice on these 3 points. So this is the meaning of the seeking solitude. And cultivate strong determination and quickly reach the final aspired goal. Quickly reach meaning, study, practice, and meditate on these 3 points. Okay. So continuation from where we left yesterday. Where did we leave yesterday? Which point?
Eightfold Path. At the end of Eightfold Path.
Page 64, in 3rd paragraph, which reads, what is the Dharma? The Dharma is the Eightfold Path of the Noble Ones, right view, right thought, instead of intention, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. This Eightfold Path of the Noble Ones, combined with the attainment of the results in Nirvana, is what the Bhagavan has called the Dharma. Who is the Bhagavan Buddha? A Buddha so-called because of comprehending all dharmas, is endowed with the wisdom eye of the noble ones, and the body of the Dharma. Okay, body of the Dharma, this is sometimes when we translate some technical terms in English, it can, we may lose the actual meaning. Body of the Dharma is Dharmakaya. Body is the Dharma, is the Dharmakaya. It is the Buddha's mind. Buddha's mind. And thus perceives the Dharma of all of those still in training and those beyond training. Those still in training, those beyond training. Beyond training meaning, okay, page 64. Page 64, paragraph paragraph 4, who is the Bhagavan Buddha? A Buddha so-called because of comprehending all dharmas is endowed with the wisdom eye of the noble ones. Wisdom eye of the noble ones meaning the wisdom to see the ultimate reality. Noble ones, again, is that the term translated in Sanskrit, it is Arya beings. Anybody who will explain to us what Arya is? Okay, the one, anybody who sees emptiness directly, that person is referred to as Aryas, be it Bodhisattvas, or the Buddhas, or even the Shavaka, simply Buddhas. See, whether you seek personal liberation, whether you seek Buddhahood, whether for Vada path, or the personal liberation path, or whatever, whoever you are, if you see emptiness directly, you are an Arya being, and you are referred to as the Sangha member. The real Sangha is somebody who realizes emptiness directly. Okay. Endowed with the wisdom eye of noble ones meaning Arya beings, and the body of Dharma is the Dharmakaya, and thus perceives the dharmas of all those still in training and those beyond training. Okay, Gate, Para Samgade. First four are in the training stage. Training, and then Bodhiswaha is the normal training, beyond training, one who has surpassed the training, which means that the one who has accomplished the arhatship, one who has accomplished the Buddhahood. These are those who are beyond trainings, and those who are still on the path, Gate, Para Samgade, the first four paths, part of accumulation, then what is next? Part of preparation, part of seeing, part of meditation. So, for these first four parts, they are referred to as the in trainings. Okay, in trainings, it says those beyond the dharmas of those still in training, the first four parts, and the beyond training, the part of normal learning. So the one who knows all phenomena, in other words, the one who knows all phenomena, the phenomena within the domain of the training stage, within the domain of the beyond training stage. Okay, then next is, how does one see dependent arising? On this point, the Bhagavan said, one who sees dependent arising as constant. Okay, this is, we need to, we'll explain this and then we'll jump to the little bit of emptiness, because to understand what we are reading now, we need to understand what emptiness is. How does one see dependent arising? On this point, the Bhagavan said, one who sees dependent arising as constant. So, dependent arising. Okay, first I think we may need to explain this. Just recently, on some occasions, people either on phone or through one-on-one meeting, they come up with problems. So much stress, so much problems. And then, okay, I don't want you to passively listen to the story. Your job is to, after the story, I will ask you a question. So you have to give me an answer. Then they come with so much stress. On the phone, so much stress, so much tension, anxiety, anguish. Then we, on phone, and some one-on-one meeting, personal meeting, then we have some talks, I listen to them, I can share my thoughts. After maybe like 10, 15 minutes, they said, oh, now I feel so light. You getting it? Now I feel so light. It's though like the whole burden is removed. I feel so light. I'm so happy. Thank you. Okay, this is the story. My question to you. Why, before the talk, before the conversation, the person had tremendous this stress, heaviness. This is known as the stress, anxiety, anguish. Then after the talk, like 10-15 minutes, and then the person said, now I feel the lightness, so that the heaviness disappears. Tell me, my first question, which do you want? The heaviness or the heaviness disappear, feeling lightness? What do you want? Lightness. Of course. Now my next question, this is very easy. Second question, what is the mechanism, what made this person feel heavy, and how this heaviness disappeared with talking? Tell me.
Wisdom.
Letting go of what he was holding on.
Huh?
Letting go of.
How did the person let go? How? What did he not let go of? Why did she not let go of before coming?
Feeling, clarity of mind is understanding. Understanding and reaching clarity of mind.
Okay, understanding was lacking.
Yes.
Understanding is a cognitive process.
Yes.
Understanding cognitive process. Yes. Understanding is a cognitive process. For example, say that, oh, the sky is going to fall, right? Sky is going to fall, then we're going to collapse under the sky. There's no sky there actually, right? These are stories. Rabbit running, the sky is falling, right? So worried about that we're going to crash under the sky. So one says the sky is falling, then the second one says, yes, sky is falling, run, third one follows. This is how so this is cognitively erroneous. You getting it? Cognitively erroneous. When there's a cognitive error there, then the mental disturbance happens. Mental disturbance happens. It's a cognitive error. It's not about the lack of single-pointedness. Right? It's not about lack of single-pointedness. It's about the cognitive error. Because of the cognitive error, then the mental disturbance happens. Okay. So when somebody talks, when somebody gives the understanding that, okay, this is not the case, don't worry, has to be taken like this, understood like this, then cognitively the person's mind is fixed. When that is fixed, then the mental disturbance dissolves. Then the lightness is felt. You're getting it? Okay, now what is happening is that, say, if we have a dream of ghosts, tell me, who sent this ghost to you? Who sent this ghost to you? Huh? Or where did this ghost come from? From your own mind. Your mind created this ghost dream. Your mind created this ghost in the dream. Right? But you created this, number one. You created this, number one. Number two, you are unaware that you have created this. Number three, then the ghost affects you. Number four, you react. You getting it? Number one, you project the ghost in the dream. What's number two?
You react.
You react.
No, so you do not listen to me, right? You're just a passive listener.
It affects you.
Huh?
It affects
No.
you.
No. Okay, let's do it again. Number one, we create this ghost in the dream. Number two, we are unaware that we created this. Number three, because of this, you see the ghost as objectively real. So there's a process there. There's a process, a sequence and a process. First one, second one leads to the third. First one is you create the ghost in the dream. Number two, you are unaware that you created this. because of which the ghost seems to be objectively real. Number 3. Number 4, therefore the ghost, what your mind is creating, according to the ghost, acts on you. Not really acts, it affects you. Affects you. Number 5, your mind reacts to the effect felt from the ghost. These 5 points. This is how our mind is thrown into disturbance. So when will this disturbance start? When will this disturbance of the fear of the ghost start? When will this start? Sanjay?
The first projection itself can start.
When you wake up.
When you wake up. When you wake up. Tell me, what's the difference when you wake up and when you dream? When you're dreaming, there's no ghost. When you wake up, there's no ghost. It's the same. But why in the dream you have so much of fear? Believing it to be objectively real. Believing it to be objectively real. And when the ghost seems to affect you, then you react. You react with anxiety, stress, runaway, and the fear. All these are the reactions of the mind. This is known as mental turbulence. You don't want to react like this. You don't want, but you have to. You don't want, but you have to. Which means that there is a loss of freedom. There's a loss of freedom. So the samsara of the dream, samsara within the dream, the fear in the dream, the samsara was because of the mind projecting the dream. The moment the mind projects the dream, you are in the trapped in samsara dream. You getting it? The moment the mind projects the dream, you are trapped in the samsara of the dream. Likewise, what are we seeing now? What are we hearing, sensing, experiencing? We are projecting another dream. We are projecting another dream. What are we seeing now? Now being in one-fourth cultural spirituality center. Okay, one-fourth the spirituality center. Even this is what our mind is projecting it now. We project it. What's number 3? What's step number 2? We're unaware. Are you aware that all these are our projection? You're not aware of that. Number 2, right? Okay, actually this was happening in us, but you're not aware of that. All these steps are happening to us, right? And you listen to me, as well like you are. It's happening to somewhere else. Actually, it hasn't happened to us. Right now, it's happening. We projected this. Number 1. Number 2. We're unaware that we project. Are you aware that this hall is projected by you? Huh?
No.
Sanjay, you came from where? Sanjay, you came from where?
Sorry, from Chennai.
From Chennai, right? Okay, you came from Chennai. From Chennai, you projected this place. Were you aware that you projected the place? You're not aware. You're not aware. Even now, you're not aware. We're not aware. What is number 3?
You don't realize that you projected it.
Because we are unaware that we projected this, we see it as objectively real. From the object. What is number 4? So therefore, since that it appears objectively real, so it affects you. Then, because it affects you, then you react. Right? You react. You react out voluntarily or involuntarily? How involuntarily? How you reacted involuntarily? If this is what we can say or explain well, then involuntary means loss of control, loss of freedom. You don't have the freedom. You are doing involuntarily. It's not your voluntary action, involuntary action. If it's involuntary, this is connotation of lack of freedom. Lack of freedom is misery. Okay, how is it involuntary action here?
Your karmic habits habituated to react.
No, what do you mean by involuntary action? Then the next question would be, how does it happen? Then you can say karmically, right? But what does it mean by involuntary action here? Involuntary, we reacted. How? In what way you call it involuntary? Yes, Abanji?
You haven't thought it out, you haven't planned it.
Okay, involuntary again has two connotations. Right? The doctors will know this. Involuntary. For example, reflex actions are involuntary. This one. And the number two is, they say there's somebody forcing you with a gun. You go this direction, go that direction. Now take out your key. Now go to your, what do you call it? Treasure. What do you call it? Safe. Go to your safe. You go there. It's all done involuntarily. This is under the force. Whereas the reflex actions is not force. It's automatic. One is automatic, involuntary in the sense of being automatic action. Other one involuntary in the sense of being under the force. You getting it? So this reaction is happening involuntarily, meaning that this is under the force. Under the force of? Under the force of what?
Affliction.
Okay. You don't jump to karma, affliction, samsara. The example that I'm giving you here.
Self-protection.
The example that I'm giving you is first you create it goes in your dream. Number two, you are unaware that you are creating it. Number three, you see the ghost as object real. Number four, the ghost then affects you. Number five, then you react. So you reacting. This is involuntary. Involuntary meaning you are reacting is by force. By what force?
Your own protection.
Self-protection.
You want protection.
Your own protection.
No. Okay, by force. How? But there are two, right? They say, by the force of somebody, you react. You react, right? By what force? One, why you react? Two, why you react? To protect yourself. By what force you acted? By the force, you react. So what is that force? The fear made you to react. What gave you the fear? You thought that is affecting me. I don't want to be affected. You're getting it? You thought that is real and that is affecting me, and I don't want to be affected. I don't want to be affected, and it is affecting me. So the fear is there. This fear made you to react.
What is the difference in the last two examples where you sit there and say, it's affecting me and I'm reacting, because how does it affect you?
Okay, let's say that, I see like this, and somebody says that you're just a stupid guy, right? And then I feel hurt. That is, I'm affected. Then I say, you're a stupid guy. This is how I react, right? I feel hurt. That is how I'm affected. Then I act as a response to this. I said, you are the stupid guy. That is how I react. So that then becomes the action, karma. That action becomes the karma. Okay, so finally we see that, let's say that this karma, this action is the karma, and this is happening because of by the force of somebody. By the force of somebody. What is that force? Finally, one is the immediate force is the fear. Immediate force. Final force is your own projection. You project it, and the moment you project it as an object, or you project it as just experience. The ghost. You project that as an object. The moment you project this object subject duality is created. The moment you say in the dream, you create the dream of the ghost. Then the ghost is projected as an object. Actually, there's no duality. With respect to you, you see duality. There's ghost there, and I'm the one who should run away. So I am the one who sees the ghost, and that is the object, the ghost. So object-subject duality is created. The moment you create this, then the duality is already created. With this duality, then you see that this object there, then that affects you, and you react. So actually, this is all projection by your own mind. So therefore, the moment you project the dream, this is the samsara of the dream. And the moment you project things out there, this is the samsara. The moment we project things, and this projection is happening because of the influence of the self-grasping ignorance. This projection. Okay. So, okay, tell me. What is this in my hand? Flower. Is this projection of mine or not?
Yes.
How do you know?
Because you said it's okay.
Okay, so the question is this a projection of mine? What I said is that everything that exists in this universe, that we, you and I, we are experiencing, we are seeing, hearing, what we're thinking, they're all the projection of our own mind. The next question is, how can I know that this is a projection of my mind? This next question. This is so important. And this, we're not to just have a belief. We must be convinced that this is what is happening. If you know that, the Buddha Shakyamuni, on this earth, Buddha Shakyamuni was the first one to discover, not invent, discover that everything is a projection of your own mind. The moment you realize this, many of the misconceptions will be dissolved automatically. You will get such conviction in the efficacy of the truth, the power of your mind, that the Buddha nature inside us. Then you will see that there's a Buddha nature inside us. Okay. So what am I doing? Okay, raise hands. Who said that I'm doing water? Raise hands. You're doing water. Ravi? Okay. So, we said that, we all said that I'm drinking water, right? Do you agree with me that the chemist will say that I'm drinking H2O? And the physicist will say that I'm drinking electrons, protons, neutrons. Do you agree with me or not? You all gave the same answer. Even the physicists, if they come here, if they were to give the natural answer, they will say that you are drinking water. They will not say you are drinking electrons, protons, neutrons. If they are given instruction, this is nothing but electrons, protons, neutrons, you tell according to that. Then only then they will say that you are drinking electrons, protons, neutrons. Okay, tell me, which of the three answers is correct? All three are correct. But emotional reaction is very different. Particularly when it is very hot in Bangalore, like April, beginning of May, very hot, and you are outside your house for like 2 hours and you are just craving for water. And then you see somebody drinking water like this, then you will feel desire for this water. Whereas if you see just a bunch of electrons, protons, neutrons, this craving will not come to you. Do you agree with me or not? This is extremely important concept. Extremely important thing. So emotional reactions are very different. Yes?
I have a doubt here. So, okay, you see electrons and protons and craving does not come toward this object, but you are still thirsty.
You are still? Thirsty. That's true. That's true. Okay. That's true. So, no. Any answers? That's true. Shweta came up with a complication. That's true. Even though you see the electrons, neutrons, that's fine. Your craving stops, but the thirst is still there within you. Anyone? How do you resolve this?
I support what she's saying, because if I see it as protons, neutrons, or whatever, then I know that that substance relieves my thirst. So it doesn't matter whether it's water or...
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so now there are two questions coming. One is, okay, it doesn't matter whether it's water or whatever, but this substance there, that helps me to remove my thirst, is one. Number two, okay, what is there? My craving towards that stops. So there are two problems. One is the thirst. Number 2 is the craving. Craving creates additional problem. Problem because of the craving stops, but still the thirst is there. This is a problem, right? Okay, now on top of that, another additional problem from the Jack, saying that it doesn't matter whatever this is. There's substance there. You take it, you don't call it drink. You take it, and your thirst will disappear. This is what I want, right? Okay, anybody who would like to respond to this? Yes, here.
The intensity reduces when you look at it from the
Different way. Okay, intensity reduces, but it will not be reduced completely. Okay, so we are talking about the fearlessness, total fearlessness, which means that even this, the thirst, is also a form of fear, right? I don't want this thirst. I don't want to be thirsty. You getting it? And this thirsty, the thirst, intensity, it becomes so acute, is terrible. Nobody wants that. If you're not thirsty now, if you can see the prospect of an acute thirst happening to you after, say, 2 days, it's very scary. It's a fear. Okay, so how to solve this problem? We started with emptiness and then now more problems came. Okay, Dr. Anita, how would you solve this problem?
We have to explain that if it's a projection of our mind, how can we still quench our thirst with something that's completely projected?
So the thirst is still there, so the thirst is not removed. Even we see that the emptiness nature of the water.
Yeah.
Okay, so that reinforces Shweta's question. Anybody?
This elaboration is stopped, so therefore the emotional reaction is stopped, but not the...
No, so the emotional reaction there are two. One is the thirst, and the other one is the craving for the water. Craving for the water stops, that's fine. But this thirst is still there. No, craving for this water stops. But craving for something to quench the thirst is still there. Yeah, so how to solve that? Okay, Raviji, yes.
We don't have no choice of solving it.
Huh?
We don't have the freedom to solve it.
Oh, we don't have the freedom to solve this. Nothing to do.
Unless you are out of this, as long as you have the human form, you would have that, you have no choice if you have, when the person can...
Okay, so as long as you are a human being, confined within this body, you can't do anything, is what you're saying? But this is not the case. Okay, anybody? Raviji?
It's like that. Is there any possibility of seeing the emptiness of the thirst itself?
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, the next is seeing the emptiness of the thirst. Good, Charu?
Just saying on that
Same.
lines only, that if you look at and if you observe that that you still feel really thirsty, you look at it that this is not in its own reality, that this would it's also a projection. It is also projection that it is alright after a while it subside, and then and the fact that I will not die, I mean, I would just tell us that I will not die.
People die of thirst.
Yes, but then
Yes,
at that
people die of
state
thirst.
in mind,
Huh?
at that state in mind when I don't have the, the access to water immediately, drinking water immediately, and then I kind of, I don't know how to explain that, but yes, it's
Okay. Jack?
Thirst is a temporary condition brought about by causes and conditions.
That's true. So
therefore, all I need to do is introduce different causes and conditions to take care of the thirst.
like what?
Like that glass. but it's
Okay, so what Jack is saying is that you have to go for the substance, whether called water, electrons, whatever.
or you go in the house where you're not under extreme heat. Make some changes.
Okay, so this is resort to external factors. Resort to some external factors, whether you go to house, they take the substance or whatever, you have to do some, you have to resort to some external
Something
factor.
happens based upon causes and conditions, and you change the causes and conditions.
Very good. So cause conditions, external. Answer is, the first step is very good. That even this thirst is because of causes and conditions. Even that is dependent originated. So you change the factors dependent upon which the thirst arises, thirst originates. Change these factors and the thirst will disappear. Very good. Yes, Abanji?
There are people in the rishis and all these people who fast for days and weeks and months, manage without water, right? So it's possible to control it from the mind.
But they do feel thirst.
They do feel a thirst.
Yeah.
It's possible to contain it.
Okay.
So maybe when you reach that level, then
Which level?
their level.
Their level is very ambiguous.
The rishis, the
What,
saints.
what do you mean by saints? Saints, there are so many saints, 40% saint, 50% saint, 80% saint. There are so many levels of saint. Huh?
95%. No, what I mean is it's possible. It's possible to mind control. Any
How? This is the next question.
physical,
Okay, I'll tell you one thing. Right? Let's say we the ordinary people can see somebody easily see somebody as a rishi. If somebody doesn't eat food for the 10 days, he becomes a rishi. Even the hunger strikers,
But they eat every night.
No, not true. Some may be eating, but that's not true. And if somebody has the label, what do you call it, a sannyasi or a yogi, and you're less a yogi, with the label yogi, right? When people classify that person as in the form of the yogi and does some physical exercise, that becomes a yogi exercise. And this exercise, and you look at some of the young boys, young girls, right? Young girls, young boys who are just in the streets. Their flexibility is far more flexible than these yogis. Their body, the flexibility, they are 10 times the greater yogi than this. But we the ordinary people easily qualify them as yogis, saints, rishis. No, it's not like this. Somebody who has, say for example, let's say that you are put in a prison. You're put in a house, and then there's no possibility for liquor and all indulgences. There's no possibility. So that way the person has to stay there. So this is one way of fencing. Fence from the external indulgence so that one will be safe. This is one way. Then number 2 is be with the factors for indulgence. Be with the factors for indulgence, and you fight with indulgence. Indulgence will try to overwhelm you. You also fight. There's a clash happening and try to still remain strong. Number 2. Number 3 is you win over the indulgence. Then number 4, that you use the indulgence so that your strength increases even more. You getting it? One is fencing from the indulgence, which requires the greatest strength. One, fencing, and you being nice. Number 2, you be with the indulgence and you fight with the indulgence. Indulgence will try to overwhelm you, and you try to overwhelm. That's like equal strength there. Then number 3, indulgence becomes your servant. Number 4, indulgence. Indulgence make your strength even stronger. Which is the hardest thing to do?
Last one.
Last one is the hardest thing to be done. Right? Last one is the hardest thing to be done. Okay, so there are these 4 ways of tackling to control mind. Finally, to manage and administer mind. Administer mind so that we do not go into the fears, we do not go into the lack of happiness. Control the mind, so that we will have the fearlessness and the infinite happiness. There are 4 ways to bring it. Also the last one is very difficult. You getting it? So therefore, we call it, oh, some rishis, they don't eat food. Okay, if they don't eat food, in what way it benefits? This next question. Right? Not eating food is staying away from the food. Because the food that has the potential to give rise to craving and so forth. So you are afraid of the food. Stay away from the food. Or be with the food and let the food nurture your strength, which is more difficult. Second one is far more difficult. If one is able to do that, that is far greater than somebody who refrains from the food.
No, the point I was making is that it's possible to control.
Okay, listen. So what I'm saying is that what Abhanti is saying is that if you refrain from the food, that is great. There's nothing great.
No, I didn't say that at all.
Now from this, we get a feeling that we have the ability to control the thirst.
Yes.
This is what you're saying?
Yes.
You're getting it? So simply by staying away from the food doesn't mean that your thirst is overcome. Simply because you see somebody not eating food for like 40 days, doesn't mean that hunger is gone. The pain of hunger is gone. It doesn't mean that. Person is bearing it. Which is better? Bearing the hunger. The pain of hunger is still there, but bearing is still not eating the food. The displaying resilience. One. Then number two is the hunger is there, but you are not being affected by the hunger. Right? Affected by the pain. Okay, it's fine. For example, somebody hits me like this, there is a pain, but I'm not affected. I feel the pain, but the pain is not affected. But for somebody with a very weak physical body, like this, there's a tremendous pain that the person will scream. So one time is where you have the pain, but the pain does not affect you as much. The first one is there's a tremendous pain, but still resilience there. Some people have a tremendous, what do you call it, the power of resilience. Right? Tremendous power of resilience. If two persons, they have the same degree of the pain, but one could bear it, one cannot bear it too. The power of the resilience. Then number three, there's no pain, right? Somebody who is like us, eating food now, and someone who's not eaten food for the last 4 or 5 days, both of them, mentally, they are just the same. Physically, maybe more weak, but mentally, it's the same. Another person not eating food gives rise to even more bliss and joy. Right? There are various degrees. This is what I meant by yogi, 10% yogi, 40% yogi, 50% yogi, 80% yogi. This is the meaning. So we, the ordinary people, we don't see these levels. Because we don't study these levels, we don't see these levels. When we don't see levels, we solidify everything as one. Rishis. Right? You are 10% rishi, you are you rishi. 80% rishi, you are you rishi. Same. Put the same, the category. So what I'm saying is that, okay, now the main point is thirst. Thirst, what level of, what Abhan says, the rishi, what level of spiritual advancement you have reached. If your level is very low, be very practical. To overcome thirst is not easy. Okay, there are two things happening. Say you are under the scorching sun, and then your body needs water, and that is reflected in the form of you feeling thirst. You feeling the thirst. Okay, so this thirst means there's a pain there, the pain of the thirst. One. Number two is, then you look like this. Oh, there's water there. You're getting it, there's water there. And the craving to the water comes. And when you don't, and then Shabir takes over the water, right? Then the pain of not getting the water. Why I'm not getting this water comes to you. Okay, so there are two problems. One is a thirst. Pain of the thirst. Number 2 is the pain of not getting the water. The pain of not getting the water. Do you see distinction? Do you see the distinction between these two things? What distinction is there? Ondila, do you see distinction? What difference do you see between the two? Yes, there's a difference. Another person, thirst is there. When Shambhala takes a little water, right? Okay, still the mind is not affected. Right? Okay, fine. Yeah, this her water is fine. Right? Maybe Rabdana's water. Right? Then Rabdana also takes away. Okay, fine, it's fine. Okay, when the delicious water. And then delicious takes away, it's fine. But somebody, right? Then the Rabdana takes the water. Why is he so stingy? Why is he not giving this water to me? Why? When you say why, there's agitation there. So one is the agitation because of not getting the water, and one is the thirst. There are two kinds of thirst, two kinds of pain. Do you see the distinction between these two pains? What's the difference? Do you see the difference?
One is the thirst that is there because of your not getting the water or thirst. Second is projected that you have made for yourself by craving for that water. Say, I want, I don't want, and adding to it. So that's a super adding.
That's correct. Okay, anybody else who likes to rub their lung?
Physical pain, and the other one is mental pain.
Okay, did you follow this? What Ananda ji said is the actual meaning, and Venerable Abdullah puts it in the technical term. The technical term is one is physical pain, one is mental pain. Thirst is a physical pain, and the other one is mental pain. Which is more difficult to overcome? Huh? No. No. Right? No. Okay. Say immediate and long term. 2. Immediate and long term. 2. In the long run. In the long run, mental overrides the physical. In the long run, immediate, the physical overrides the mental. Immediate. For example, there's a cut there. Cut there. The pain is so acute. Pain is so acute. Right? And the mental pain can aggravate the physical pain. Physical pain can likewise aggravate the mental pain. You getting it? Mental pain can easily aggravate the physical pain because with the mental pain, the immune system is gone. Immune system is gone, physical body easily degenerates. People who are going through, say, the pain of losing near and dear ones. Tremendous pain of losing near and dear ones. Some of them, they go through, this phase for months. Their body simply shuts down very quickly. And oftentimes, the one dies, and within 1 or 2 months' time, even within a few weeks, the other person also dies. Right? Okay. This is because the mind, mental is more powerful than the physical. Okay, this is one thing. But for the immediate pain, physical overrides the mental. Mental, we talk, right? For example, okay, don't worry, this because of this. You change the cognitive thought process, mental will be fixed. And you have a physical cut there, oh no, don't worry, this is a pain, the pain will be still there, right? Thirst will be still there. Thirst will be still there. So the point is that to overcome the immediate physical pain is much more difficult than to overcome the mental pain. Immediate. Okay, with this in mind, say the thirst. What degree of your experience of emptiness? If the degree of experience is very less, in fact, say, I think maybe it is my fault. I tend to be too positive, optimistic, that when I lead some retreats, teaching on bodhicitta and so forth, people become so enthusiastic. They think that they're going to become enlightened within a few weeks or few months. Whereas if you go to monastery universities, You talk about emptiness, they'll first ask you, you talk about emptiness, right? Emptiness of the water, emptiness of the mind, and so forth. They will ask you, wow, it's amazing. How many years you've been studying emptiness? Then you will say 2 days in Montfort, the spirituality center. 2 days, right? They will be shocked, right? So for them, in the monastic universities, they're talking about very detailed understanding of emptiness. 2 days, they will just laugh at you, right? The first time you talk about emptiness like this, they'll be amazed. Wow, it's amazing, right? The next question will be how long you have studied, how many years. You say not years. Then 2 days, right?
Maybe in past life.
Okay, maybe in past life. Okay, so the point is that in the monastic universities, of course, if you study the text, more detailed standard text, you will come to discover that meditation emptiness for many lifetimes. And whereas some of my friends who just attend like retreats like this, 1 or 2 retreats, and then they say, oh, I applied to this my emptiness or my depression, but it doesn't work, right? Okay, so you first go to the monasteries, big monasteries. If this is your reaction, that it does not really work with my emotions. So what I'm saying, not emotions, let's say, the depression and so forth. So there, particularly when it comes to depression, what happens is that the mental is passed down to the physical. It affects the physical, and you could feel the physiological changes within your body. You could feel the heaviness, corrosion, heaviness. That is a physical expression. And that is because of the mental. Physical. When the mental is rectified, if it has been chronic, the physical will take little time. But when the mind is rectified, the physical will be rectified. If that is purely because of the mental affecting the physical. Okay, so with this the point is that to see the emptiness of the water is much easier, and then it affects the cognitive, it rectifies the cognitive misperception, and because of which agitation stops. But the thirst is the manifestation of the physical pain, because of which for that experience emptiness must be very profound. Honest until you experience emptiness is so profound, it cannot have the power to affect the physical pain. Okay, so what happens is that when you see emptiness directly, only when you see emptiness directly, at that point, then the senses, they all shut down. Senses, they all shut down, including the body sense. So the pain, thirst, is a body sense. The experience felt by the body sense. The body sense consciousness will be shut down at the time you see emptiness directly. So you will not feel the pain. Even the thirst, you will not feel it. Okay, but we should be very realistic. We should be very realistic that our pain, the thirst, agitation, all these undesirable things, they are coming because of 2 factors, like the sound of clap. Like the sound of clap, all these problems, be it physical pain or the mental pain, they should necessarily come into being because of the 2 factors. These problems are like the sound of clap, come into being because of the 2 hands. One hand symbolizing external factors, other hand symbolizing internal factors. As long till you reach a level where you have an extremely profound experience of emptiness, to the extent you see emptiness directly, till that point we should take care of the external factors as well. External factors, because the internal factors, the counter force to encounter internal factors is so weak, because of which you have to take care of the external factors as well. That's very important. So some people, we tend to go to extremes all the time. Some people, they go to the extreme of saying that, looking for happiness and everything outside, purely outside. right? Nothing, just pure dasana, not at all thinking about inside. How your mind is working, they don't at all think. For example, once in my office, there was somebody, and from her thinking, I could figure out that she is not at all ready to turn inward. Not at all ready. Okay, it's fine, there's nothing wrong with it. You may not turn inward to the inside, how the mind works. It's fine. But if you want to have the, at least in the mundane sense, in the worldly sense, from a very standard, the worldly point of view, you want to be quite a stable person. Then you should be able to, be resilient, not at all resilient. The moment you hear a very sad story, instantly she starts panicking. The moment I take her deeper into, the mental processes, thought processes, she's not ready to go to that. And then instantly expressing, say the anger towards external factors, this person, so forth. Okay, fine. You don't want to think inside, it's fine. Outside, at least you don't want agitation, you don't want suffering. For that matter, then stay calm according to the mundane, the point of view. And so they're easily agitated. They came to my office with what? To look for some solutions. What solution should I give? This problem. So therefore, the point is that we should be very realistic. External, don't be overly external, and don't be to the other extreme, saying, oh, everything is mental. No. Everything is mental can tell to somebody who has a very high realization of emptiness or bodhicitta. For that person, because of the tremendous control of the inside, external cannot affect them. It is for them. But for us ordinary people, we should take care of both. External factors. When you're thirsty, don't force yourself. Oh, purification. Don't force yourself. Go to get a water. Until you sit for a few days of Nyune retreat, there is exception. When you're thirsty, because this is a part of commitment, then you have to stay away from food, water, and so forth for 6 days, 8 days, 16 days, whatever. Then you do it according to your commitment. Otherwise, a normal situation, be very realistic. If you're thirsty, not only thirsty, that you are going through dehydration, take water. If you're hungry, eat food. And the Buddha is extremely practical. So for the monastics, ideally speaking, after the midday, no food. But the Buddha said, if you're sick, Buddha said, you must eat. There's no hard and fast rule. Buddha is so practical, extremely practical. He also said that the people who work for the monastery, administrators, they have a tremendous work, run here and there. So they need energy is consumed. Because the Buddha said that you can also eat, you have to eat. And then when you travel, again, you may not get proper food here and there easily. Again, the Buddha said you have to eat, even after midday. And then when for no reason you should feel excessive hunger after midday, again the Buddha said you eat it. There's no hard and fast rule. In other words, we should be very realistic. The point is not to punish ourselves. The point is to take yourself to the state of fearlessness and the infinite happiness. So what takes you fast a day? Go that, embrace that. This is the purpose. The means are not the ultimate. Sometimes we forget the end, we forget the goal, and we emphasize so much on the means. And because of which, and then people start fighting. Fundamentalists, fanatics, they all come out of that, the means. And then for example, people fight for the Buddha Dharma, people fight for God, people fight for this ism, that ism, and so forth, right? And killing so many. Is this the teaching? Is this the teaching of the tradition? For example, For example, Myanmar, so many killings happen. Right? And then is in the Iran, so many executions happening. And then you say Afghanistan, then Syria, so many bombings happening, killings happening. And in the Christians, the Catholics and the Protestants, so much of wars, killings happening in what is Northern Ireland and the island there. So if you look at this, is this the intention of God? Is this what the Buddha wants? Is this what Prophet Muhammad wants? If you ask these questions, then this is where it is all because of the failure of the people to distinguish between what is the goal and what is the means. Emphasis so much on the means and forgetting the goals. And then in the process you lose the goal. And means, then it is not a means. Means means for a goal. Now the goal is not there, so this is not a means. Okay, so these are the problems. Okay. So with this, now the next point is the, okay, say, yes.
Did we answer the water and thirst question?
I already gave the answer. Thirst, the thirst, to get into the thirst without necessarily drinking the water is the best can be done through seeing emptiness directly, which means that you have to reach to some extent. If you don't reach that level, then you should be realistic. Realistic meaning external, internal both should be taken care of. So in our case, and to reach to that level of seeing emptiness directly, most likely 99% of the people cannot reach direct experience emptiness within this single lifetime. 99% not. So therefore, the best thing is to take care of both external and internal factors. Take care of the water. Drink water. Right? Okay. Yes.
4 levels of resilience that we spoke about.
Not resilience, the combating.
So, is it step by step or can someone...
Okay, actually it is step by step. Step by step, unless and until one has one has been through the earlier steps from the past lives, and this life you did your MPhil from somewhere, from England, you come to India to do Ph.D, right? And those people who did MPhil in MPhil in India, they may think that wow, this person is very special, right? He or she got the opportunity to do a PhD directly. We spent all these like 14 years, 20 years, 30 years in this, and he got directly into PhD. No, it's not direct. It did everything before in England. Right? Okay, so likewise, we see that, oh, Geshe Lharampa is very special. He became enlightened in a single lifetime. No, he put all these efforts from past life. Past life, and this life is the German, just left for him to sprout. That part is left. All the other procedures he already did in the past lives. Yeah. Okay. Now with this, the point is that we have to understand this stanza, this paragraph so well, we have to know emptiness concept. Okay. So the Buddha Shakyamuni, after say the 49 days of remaining silent without giving teachings, then the king of the celestial beings, the gods and goddesses, Indra, Brahma, they descended and they made a request to the Buddha, please don't remain silent, please turn the wheel of Dharma to light the lamp of the wisdom, to dispel the darkness of ignorance within the minds of the sentient beings. Then the Buddha said the stanza, profound, peaceful, elaboration-free, clear light, non-composite, such as a nectar-like dharma I have discovered. Finding no one can fathom this teaching in silence, hourly time with words. This is what the Buddha said. And then, in the Brahma, they made more persuasions to the Buddha, and finally the Buddha accepted to give the teachings. Then he turned towards Varanasi. Okay, so with this teaching on emptiness, which is so profound, was taught. And if you get this. And luckily, it's not that this emptiness you can get only through faith. No, luckily, this is lucky part. It's a very good news. There's not necessarily way to wait with faith. Just do the very systematic studies, systematic reflections. Meanwhile, the other factors, take care of other factors also, and then you see it. You see it yourself. Once you see that, then you see the effect of this on yourself. That effect. From this effect, you can be convinced that finally what disturbs me is the mental, the afflictions. These afflictions can be so well effectively combated by the wisdom of emptiness. You feel it yourself. Okay, with this conviction, okay, this is what is bound to happen. For that matter, we need to know what emptiness is. Okay, so emptiness, to speak about the emptiness, usually what I do is that I begin by introducing two questions, so that we don't fall into nihilism. Emptiness, we can easily slide down into nihilism. So to make sure that we don't fall into nihilism, I begin with these two questions. First question is, do things exist? The first question. Do things exist? What's the answer? Yes. No, everything is empty. If you say everything is empty, then you fall into nihilism. So the answer to the first question, do things exist? If your answer is no, you fall into nihilism. You fall into nihilism. So if you fall into nihilism, there is no way to get to emptiness. This is not at all emptiness, this is nihilism. Only if you say yes, everything exists. I exist, you exist, everything exists. So why this is very important. The first question is very important, is that there are many people, and this is my experience from 2004 experience, that when I teach emptiness, then oftentimes after about 4 or 5 days of teaching, then people seem to respond well. In the end, I end up in dismay. That is, that though they go into nihilism, nothing's there. This is how they end up with. So to avoid that, I always begin with these two questions. The first one is, do things exist? Answer is yes. If you say no, finish. No way to get to emptiness, already into nihilism. Finish. Okay. And in this connection, it also reminds me of one extremely renowned scholar, professor, and who is respected as a scholar of Buddhist philosophy, a great scholar of Buddhism. I don't know a great scholar of Buddhist philosophy, but renowned as a professor, very senior professor, extremely senior, now almost reaching 80. And one conference, he said that in Buddhism, there's nothing. Nothing exists. Because the Buddha talked about anatta. Anatta is no self. No self. There's no self in Buddhism. There's no self, there's no you, there's no I, there's nothing. There's nothing in Buddhism. I was shocked to hear that. In fact, because of the fame that people, respect him with, I thought that his understanding, at least, and we also had some discussions, our Chitta-Mata philosophy, Madhurya philosophy, and so forth. And suddenly he said this, and I was literally shocked. Then I thought that, okay, so this must be the way. First, the two questions. Do things exist? What's the answer? Yes. Yes. Only if you say yes, then there's hope for emptiness. Then the second question. Do things exist objectively? Yes. Okay. If you say yes, this is absolutism. If you say no to the first question, this is nihilism. If you say yes to the Second question, you fall into absolutism. Okay, only if you say no to the second question, then you are into emptiness. You're in emptiness. And emptiness, there are 5 layers. There are many, experientially speaking, there are many layers of emptiness. Experientially speaking. But intellectually speaking, to put it in a proper form and as per the very standard positions that you find in the text, there are 5 layers. Okay, some of you already know that. What are the 5 layers? Emptiness of permanent, unitary, independent self. Number 1, emptiness of permanent, unitary, independent self. Number 2, emptiness of autonomous substantial reality. Number 2, emptiness of autonomous substantial reality. Number 2. What's number 3? Emptiness external reality. Okay. When I give you full, you have to give me full. Right? Emptiness of external reality. Thank you. Number 3. Number 4.
Emptiness of true existence without negating, rejecting.
Very good. Emptiness of true existence while not rejecting inherent existence or objective existence. Emptiness of true existence while not rejecting inherent existence or objective existence. Then finally, emptiness of objective existence. Very good. Number 5, emptiness of objective existence. Okay, we'll continue in the next session. Yatha om gati gati